Welcome into our lives.
And welcome to the Expanders Club podcast.
We're so happy to have you.
Join us as we embark on a journey of deep exploration, soul searching, and asking the hard questions.
With the goal of truly understanding the most aligned, empowered, and purposeful versions of ourselves.
We want to live an extraordinary life, and we're willing to dig deep to find out what it takes.
Buckle up. You're about to meet a new version of yourself, an extraordinary one. Hello, my friends, and Happy New Year. Happy 2025. Whew. I hope your holiday season was wonderful, lovely, peaceful, whatever you hoped it would be. I hope that it was that. We had a pretty low-key Christmas, pretty low-key holiday season. My entire goal, my number one goal throughout it was to be present, which is very different than past years. I usually, create a massive to-do list of all these unachievable goals that I'm going to get done, all the things that the little things I meant to do through the year, prep finances, get tax stuff ready, make a bunch of, social media content. And while I still felt the call to do that, or the urge to do that, I didn't. And I didn't really get anything done this holiday season other than being present. And I think I upgraded myself a bit spiritually. I had some pretty interesting tests come my way. Thank you, universe, for checking in and allowing me to check in and see how evolved I am. I will probably share them with you guys at some point, but at the moment, I'm still processing and they involve other people, so I'm going to keep them to myself. But interesting to be able to observe and see how far I've come and how my reactivity or reactions to the situation that arose for sure would have been different at a different time in life, even 8 months ago, 10 months ago. So thank you for the tests, universe. I hope I've proven myself, and I would love to have minimal tests for 2025. All right. But with all that, also, as I've said before, January 1st being the new year time is a construct created by humans. The calendar was created by humans. So if you're not feeling like you're off to a fresh start or like you have a bunch of momentum going into this year, that's totally fine. That's how I feel too, actually. I feel like I'm recording this on January 3rd. I feel like this is still very much the holiday mode and integration mode. Honestly, I even feel probably next week, the week of January 6th, when this comes out, we'll still kind of be integrating and not so much in momentum. And then I think it'll all start to pick up. We'll start to get in a flow kind of later this month. We're going to have Eric, our favorite astrologer, on to tell us about the flow of the year. So we'll see if that aligns. I know, astrologically, Aries season is the start of the year. So it's not January 1st. My best friend Kelly, who's been on the podcast talking about human design, just told me that in human design, January 22nd is the start of the year. So if you're not feeling the January 1st New Year vibes, you are not alone, and no big deal. Your momentum, your year, your activity starts whenever you're ready. And that is part of the evolution, is knowing that and listening to that, and not forcing it when it's just not there. So I have our January themes and messages for you today. And I think a lot of these will be helpful. Whatever mode you're in right now, some really important stuff came through that I'm excited to share with you. And I think that it will, there's some big messages. I wanted it, you guys, I really wanted it to just be positive and cheery. And while it's not exactly that, it is all positive in the it's for your greater good type of way. But I wanted to be able to come on here so badly and tell you, hey, we are now in ease and flow. Everything's just going to happen so easily. Miracles are going to be attracted to you. You're going to be magnetic, and like, take a deep breath. Don't worry. The work is done. That's not exactly the information that I received. So let's just go through it. Let's go through it. I'm going to share themes and messages, and then I'm going to share the words of the month for January, because that's what I was given. That is the information I was given. So it is my job to share it with you. All right, we have 4 themes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 themes and 3 words. And I'm going to go through the themes first. And I think they'll help the words make much more sense. So, like I said, this is all very positive, just not necessarily easy. And I don't even know if easy is the right word. It's all very positive, and it's for your evolution, for your growth, for better days, right? So just keep that in mind as I'm sharing these themes. Themes number 1 for January is to have a gratitude attitude. I did not make that up. That was gifted to me. As corny as it sounds, have a gratitude attitude. And what that felt like it really means, or how the message came through, is that really means gratitude, a lot of gratitude for your past and where it has brought you this exact moment today. Gratitude for your achievements, gratitude for what you've been through, gratitude for where you've landed. And a big message, that has come up a few times in my life and feels important to share with you guys is when you can have gratitude for your journey, no matter how traumatic it has been, when you can have gratitude for the people that have been in your journey, no matter how much trauma they have caused, that is when you know that you are healed from that, or that is when you know you're ready to move on from that. That is when you know there's no longer an emotional attachment to those experiences. That is a huge breakthrough in evolution, because again, if you think about spiritual laws, our souls come here and choose our exact parents and our path, and the people who are going to be interacting with us on that path. It's all happening for a reason. If you can really believe that spiritual law, then you will have gratitude. You will know that everything that has happened to you for a reason. Everything that has gone down in life has meant to go down that exact way for your evolution, for your growth, for your soul's journey. And I know that can be a really hard pill to swallow sometimes. But as someone who has been on both sides of the coin, right? Who has had a lot of trauma and traumatic experiences to shake and process and live through. And now someone who's on the other side, where I can look at those, 95% of the time, I can look at those experiences and say, wow, those things really shaped me into the person that I am today. I can look at the ripple effect that they had in all the good ways, the lessons that I learned from them, and really know that, hey, it all happened for a reason. It is so freeing. And I think you have no idea the physical baggage that you carry in your body, the weight that your body is carrying from holding on to these traumas, from not making peace with them, from maybe not believing that, hey, everything happened for a reason, from not seeing the good. And that doesn't mean that we agree with them. It doesn't mean that we forget them. But I think it does mean some forgiveness, whatever that looks like for you. But it does mean releasing the emotions, releasing the labels, releasing the stories around them. And the moment you can do that, you benefit so much. It is not about holding these people accountable, holding others' actions accountable. It is not about judgment or anger or hatred or sadness. Like those things just don't serve anyone. And in fact, they're not harming the people who have caused the trauma, right? They're only harming us. They're only harming you. So while it's certainly a journey to get to the place of appreciating your trauma or having gratitude for your trauma and the trauma, the trauma givers, it's a worthy thing to look into and it's a worthy goal to have, because let me tell you, it is just so freeing when you can do that. It is so freeing on the other side, and it is such a key marker for your evolution, your journey, and a key foundational step to getting into the bigger, better things that you want, the magnetizing miracles, the living in peace and flow and ease and freedom and abundance. Like, you can't get to those things unless you can have gratitude for the journey, the moments, the things that brought you to exactly where you are. So, theme number 1, gratitude. Have a gratitude attitude this January. Theme number 2, remove chaos. Okay, let's see what they said about this. Anything that is not working or not serving your greater purpose should be removed. You should approach this. It's like the language for this theme is bold simplification, which is really interesting, right? So like boldly, bravely cut things out of your life. Maintain clear boundaries around anything or anyone that is no longer working. Remove unnecessary pressure to do too much. So a big message that relates to this that I've been getting lately is like this idea and this language that we've used in the past of like just like doing an action creates results is we're kind of done with that in this new energy of the year. Of course, you can't sit on your couch watching Netflix and expect results to happen, right? If you have goals, but less of this, like almost like you don't have to be so consistent. I think in the past, let's think about podcasts, or if you have an audience that you send a newsletter to, it's like there was this very strict, like every week you have to launch your podcast. Like consistency is the only way to success. If you send out a newsletter, like every week you have to send out a newsletter, even if you have nothing important or interesting to say, like it's all part of marketing, right? And if you're not consistent, and if you don't consistently show up, and if you don't have 3 posts a week on Instagram and 10 reels a month and 2 stagnant posts and like whatever all these rules are, right, of how we're supposed to build our businesses, create buzz, put ourselves out there, show up, like those are kind of out the door. You don't have to show up. It's now more about efficiency and meaning. So if you don't have something interesting or important or useful to say, if you're a podcast host and you don't have something important or useful to say that week, don't just put out a podcast to put out a podcast because you put out a podcast every Tuesday. Like that is creating negative energy in the world because you're taking your time away from other things. You're taking other people's time away from something that isn't, as beneficial to them as it should be. Like it's not the rule anymore. This consistency language that we've used for so long in business, in life, in marketing. Consistency is not the game, meaning doing things that are meaningful and have impact is the game. It's something I am very much trying to wrap my head around. I know this to be true. And again, this message has come through so many times for me in the past few months. I should be posting more on social media. I should be sending out newsletters. I should be doing my Substack consistently every week. I should be making sure I'm putting out a podcast episode every week. But if you're not feeling it, if you're not feeling inspired and called to share about something, like don't. If there's resistance, don't do it. And that doesn't mean that like hey, if you want to have a successful podcast, you have to show up, right? But you can figure out how to, it's not about following the rules or following what other people are doing. It is about figuring out how to create something that works for you, because that will magnetize people. You know, one successful Instagram reel a week that actually gets engagement and is interesting and useful to people is better than 4 that aren't getting engagement, and you're just putting stuff out there to put out there. So that's a big part of this, like removing chaos. Like stop following along the shoulds. I should do this, I should do that. Like, let's cut out what shoulds can you cut out. And again, to use their language, it's about bold simplification. If something feels like a should, it's a no. And that feels really freaking bold, right? Actually, it's kind of terrifying, even for me. If it feels like a should, don't do it. Do not do it. And figure out a way. Figure out a way to have success. Figure out a way to make it your own. Figure it out a way, whatever it is. You know, I keep going back to content because that's where a lot of my shoulds are. I should be posting a reel every few days. You know, I should be putting out consistent newsletters, but I don't feel called to that. So I'm still figuring out what my journey and path will look like, because I have to show up, right? I have to let people know that I'm here doing the things that I'm doing, but what are the ways that actually excite me to do that and don't feel like a should, feel like a hell yeah, this message, this way of sharing it feels so important and so cool and so exciting, because the energy behind that, this is all energy, people, the energy behind that will draw so many more people in than the should energy. Okay. And another piece of that too is like having certainty, right? That's a huge theme for my year. And I think it's a theme that's always kind of floating in the background of everything we do, or a goal that's floating in the background, is like having certainty that things will work out exactly the way they should, having certainty that what is for us will not miss us, having certainty that we will know the right path, the right next step, the right option to take. Have certainty that you don't have to do the shoulds, right? Have certainty that you will figure out a way to make it work that works for you and excites your audience, or, you know, whatever it is. Yeah. Remove chaos, bold simplification, and have certainty that what is for you will find you. All right, that theme was a big one. This is not this is, like I said, this is not a low-key flow easy month. But that's okay. We know what's on the other side of the work. We know what happens when we show up and do the work, right? So like, that's okay. We're okay with this. Theme number 3, embracing change. Embracing change. Your life is changing, and the more you resist, the harder it will be. I'm going to say that one again. And I'm tearing up a little bit because I know it. I know this for me personally, and I see it with so many of my clients. Like, things are changing. It is inevitable. It is inevitable, people. And we really should surrender to it. Your life is changing. And the more you resist, the harder it will be. So let's not resist, right? Surrender to the fact that changes, while hard, always bring a better path, a bigger destiny. This is the time to acknowledge and embrace the change and choose your relationship with it. Acknowledge and embrace the change and choose your relationship with it. That is important. You get to choose. You get to choose how change impacts you. Change is hard, is a general statement that we hear a lot, right? And yes, I agree with that on some levels, but like you get to decide. Change, my history has proven that change is good. Change is always good. Like I am always better on the other side of change. Life is always better on the other side of change. And, sometimes we forget when the next chapter of change comes. We get anxious, we get fearful, we get tense. But change is always better. And it doesn't mean that going through the change feels good, feels better, but on the other side, it always is. And so you get to change your relationship, or you get to decide your relationship. Is change hard? Or is change exciting? Is change a big adventure? Is change joyful? Is change interesting? I don't know. I think I choose that change is exciting. I'm about to have a big year of change, just the things that I know that are in motion. And I'm choosing to see it all through the window, through the perspective of exciting. This is exciting. Who knows what opportunities all this change will bring? What I do know is that I will grow through this change. I will get to bring in all my spiritual tools and practice them. And I know that life will be bigger and better on the other side. So let's embrace change, my friends. Theme number 4, find your tribe. Evolution can be a lonely journey, but don't worry. So many of us are going through it. Find your people, find a group, start a text chain with your spiritual friends or friends who have even slightly ever mentioned anything spiritual. Rope them in. I've done this to many of my friends and, just kind of led the conversation into spiritual things. And it's usually pretty fun and goes well. Hire a coach, whatever it means to you to start to find your tribe in this chapter of your life. And that doesn't mean you have to ditch your old tribe or your friends or your community, but really start to think about where you're going to find support in this evolution, on this spiritual journey. Because like they said, evolution can be lonely and we're all going through it, or many of us are going through it. We all are. Many of us are consciously going through it, right? So like, why not find the people who are on the same level as you? This is not meant to be a solo journey. A strong tribe can help move your journey along so much faster and so much more joyfully. And I think that is a super important message. So I will say it again. A strong tribe can help move your journey along so much faster and so much more joyfully. Truly, truly. I've experienced it myself. Certainly this past year, definitely in the past, but this past year, I have a coach. I belong to a group. I have the text chain. I have, community was a big priority for me this past year. And the community that I have been a part of, the communities have just helped me grow exponentially. I've grown 10 years I've grown a lifetime in this past year. And a big part of that is like being willing to, committing to showing up, but certainly as we talk about all the time and why I started this podcast, the Expanders Club, like expansion happens when we interact with other people, and you want to interact with people on the same level or on a higher level with you. You want to create opportunity for those expansive moments. Again, doing that through joining a community, hiring a coach, bringing your current group of friends together in a fun and interesting way, or, just like looping them in on a text chain to a conversation. Like there's plenty of ways to do it, but that feels like a very important message. A strong tribe can help move your journey along so much faster and so much more joyfully. Change is coming for us all, and you get to choose how you experience the journey. The universe wants you to experience it with ease and joy. The universe wants to send you miracles. In moments where it feels hard, remember, there's so much to gain on the other side of this. There's so much to gain, and I am so freaking excited for us. And I think these are just themes. I think these themes will come up probably many times throughout the year, and I think they're just themes to kind of get comfortable with and start to think about this month. Let me just give you the headlines again. Having a gratitude attitude. I feel so silly saying that, but that's what they gave me, They're very lighthearted out there in the quantum field. Having a gratitude attitude, removing chaos / bold simplification, embracing change, and finding your tribe. Feels good. Feels big. Feels big and easy and exciting all at the same time. And I think a big question also, and something to keep in your mind, in the background, is, can you do all of these things and be in joy? Can you be in joy while you're on this journey, while you're figuring it all out? Can you do it all from a place of joy? Because that makes it all so much easier and so much more fun and so much more interesting. And that brings us to our words. Our words for this month. All right. January words: surrender, courage, and joy. Surrender, courage, and joy. And there it is. It's that easy. I hope this information was helpful. I hope it's given you something to think about and start to maybe structure your month, your spiritual practices around. It's really exciting. It's really exciting. And I hope that you feel that energy. This is all positive. It's all very positive, and it all leads to that transformation, that change that we all want. So, happy January, my friends. I appreciate you all. I mentioned last episode, if you listen, and I'll mention again, for the month of January, I'm doing a little giveaway. If you would be so kind as to leave a review, either on Apple or Spotify for us, hopefully make it a good review. You would leave a review on Apple or Spotify and screenshot that review and DM it to me at Expanders Club on Instagram. DM it to me anytime in the month of January. You will be entered to win a free live year ahead reading with me. So again, that is leave a review, screenshot it, send it to me at Expanders Club on Instagram, and you'll be entered to win a free live year ahead session interview with me. And you have all January to do it, and I'll pick a winner at the end of January, and we'll do your session, and it will be perfect timing for you to hear the themes, the messages, the mission, the actionable items for your year ahead. All right. Whew. Appreciate you all. Happy New Year, guys. I'm here with you on the journey this year. I don't exactly know what this year is going to bring, but I feel excited. I feel like there's a lot of momentum coming, a lot of change happening, and I feel like it's okay if we take it month by month this year. Like, I don't think we have to have our whole year planned, these big major goals. I think the universe is going to bring us the answers to like what's going to happen for the year, what our plans are going to look like. And the rest we can kind of just surrender and go with the flow and do our best to show up. And it'll all work out perfectly. Excited to hear how your holidays were, excited to hear how January is feeling. As always, feel free to reach out via DMs. I appreciate you all so, so much. I hope you have an incredible January. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. Happy New You. Excited to meet you all on the other side of this change. All right. See you soon, guys.